I will never take a dime for you to be put on this show. Now, if you want to give me money to wear something, we could talk about that, but...
Right.
But he gave that whole little speech, and I was like, fuck yeah, you understand what's going on here.
There's morals, there's principles, goddamn. Well,
let's see how long we can make those last, huh?
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. Well, before we even start this, I think we'll be all right because I was thinking like with you doing your thing and then with like the ambitions in my mind, it's like we're gonna create like this whole new like quote unquote industry that's kind of, it's not anti, but it's just fucking different, and then we're gonna be able to provide people with what maybe we didn't have growing up. You know what I mean? I'm trying to looking at like artist development, use my photography, production, studios, whatever, writing. Maybe I can like develop artists, give these people photo shoots and stuff because they deserve it, man. You know what I mean?
100%. Yo, the one thing I've absolutely loved about this journey thus far is that I've actually already been given the opportunity to give opportunities to people who at that stage of my life I didn't have that. Like I've had so many interns that I've taught so much different things, never asked for a thing, let them record many things. A lot of kids running around the East Coast of the United States right now know mixing very well because of me. That makes me so happy in that.
You made a change in the world, like legitimately.
I got to teach, bro. That made a change in me. That's really fortunate to be able to like feel like you get to have some sort of karma on your side.
Right. Like for me, it feels like I changed the timelines of how shit was gonna go because I could have been like the past, but no, I fucking switched it. Now we're living in a new world because I made a decision to, you know what I mean, be that person that I needed and be that change in the world. So, all right, this is RHV and this is Conversations with Jaymond.
Wow, angle.
Yeah. Hey, we're still working out the kinks here, brother.
No, it's got to be intentional, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. Oh, and I'm sitting here with
Cool Hand Luke.
That's right, and he's a longtime friend of mine. I wanted to do this interview or more so have this conversation with him because I always respected what he's done over the years and what he's becoming, and things are looking really beautiful. So first and foremost, how are you these days?
I'm good, man. I'm a very sensitive, emotional cat at the end of the day, so I'm always like kind of dealing with personal shit on the side. But in general, I'm pretty fantastic.
That's what's up. So if America was a bald eagle, would you rather be the left wing or the right wing? The beak or the claws, and why?
I would be the heart because I'm definitely in the center anyways, and I'm super sensitive to every other part of the body.
Damn. You want to be the heart of America?
Yes.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful and poetic.
That would be pretty fire.
Yeah, he said, fuck the left wing, fuck the right wing, be the heart of America.
It's the same bird.
Yeah. And actually, I'm going to jump off into a tangent with where you're going. I think that's beautiful because we're all so divided, I feel like, in this country with ideas, ideologies, and shit where we don't even like love the people that are next door to us.
I think a lot of that is perception. I think we're made to believe that people are more divided than they are.
Okay.
I think I disagree with a lot of my very close friends on most things. As a matter of fact, I have very few friends who agree with me on a lot of things, especially political. And they still know that and talk to me every day and show me the same love. And like, I think we're just kind of, for the most part, made to believe that that's what's going on. And some people are definitely more prone to dismissing you because of your views or opinions than others. But I think that's a lot less prevalent than we're supposed to be believing right now.
So you think it's not real?
I think how bad it is not real. I think it exists for sure. Like, I've had a lot of people stop fucking with me just for trying to have conversations. But I think most people were like, oh, he's just being open and trying to have a conversation. And a lot of people who I think when I was quiet thought worse of me were like, okay, even though I don't agree with them, now I at least understand it.
Right.
Like, I think a lot of people are just willing to understand you and hear you out. And then the small minority that's not willing to, as soon as everything turns around, people won't have any real option anymore. Like, that's a little bit vague. But
Soon as that fucking
when the other shoe
conglomerate
falls,
mentality fucking fizzles out.
like eventually they're gonna realize that the people they thought were all as idealistic as they were still fuck with you, and it starts creating issues for them because every time they interact with someone in between you and them, they're like, oh, you still fuck with them?
Right.
I saw a post about so and so.
Right.
Then they start to realize, oh, I'm kind of more alone in this than I thought, because they believe the same perception that you're bringing up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So be the heart of America, family.
On a deep left and people on a deep right both wouldn't like anything I have to say. It's just that they're so far on that side that they only hear the things they disagree with, not the fact that I'm also disagreeing with a lot of things the other side said at the same time.
Right. Because you're an individual and you have your own vision of how you see the world. It's not just one box fits all.
I know this thing scares people a lot, but it's okay to be undecided on a fucking topic.
Like abortion, like
specifically, I spent a very long time being like, I don't know, man. Like,
right.
I think this, but I also think this. I think people should have this, but I also think people should have this. And a lot of what that comes down to is realistically, like, if I was going to have a base conversation with anybody about it, I would literally just be like, look, do you believe the government has your best interest in mind, right? Most of the time they're going to say no. And then I'll say, so why are you trying to give them more power?
And giving them more power in the sense of?
Jurisdiction over federal and provincial rights. Like, I don't want anybody, for example, to not be able to get an abortion if they need it, right?
Right.
But I'm very much pro-state rights and anti-federal rights.
Okay.
I believe state rights should supersede federal rights because that was the way the government was laid out in order to prevent tyranny. That was the whole
tyranny in the sense of like
the federal government gets
they got
too much
all the
control
power
and then they can do whatever they want.
Yeah,
the whole point of the states is they all have different
That's
opinions.
how you prevent communism.
That was the whole point. That's the whole point. The point was that all the states have different opinions and thoughts, and they get to live out and enact those opinions and thoughts separately under this one flag. But they maintain enough control where that flag doesn't become so powerful that they get to tell everybody what to do.
Right.
That was the whole point. So taking away federal rights to add to states' rights is a good thing for freedom. And the reason I won't feel too bad about that is because worst case scenario, you might have to drive a state over to do what you really need to do.
Right.
But you're still in the country where you can fucking do that. Period.
Proud to be an American. And
you get to live in a state that is super tailored to your exact political spectrum. There's 50 different options of the spectrum of policy. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's insane. No other country has that.
That's beautiful, dude, and that's why I like talking to you, because we could take it there. So I want to take it there even on another level. Like, do you fuck with racism? Because I fuck with racism.
Can you define racism?
I'll define it in the sense of why I fuck with it. I felt like, so growing up as a spirit within black flesh, right? And I see people getting doxxed and shit for having their own beliefs. Me growing up, I didn't care if somebody's racist. Unless somebody's not touching me or disrespecting me or anything like that. There's mean people, there's nice people, and we all have our different beliefs. I felt like for me as a black man, if I could spread the belief that, hey, listen, everybody's gonna think what they want to think. So when you hear what they think, they're entitled to that opinion, and it's no need to get emotionally controlled or manipulated because of some program that was bred into your brain. So I fuck with the acceptance of understanding that human nature is can get very depraved, and I just don't want anyone to like be emotionally controlled by some program that was like taught to them since a child.
So do you feel like racism is taught or inherent?
I think it's incentivized, and I do think it's taught.
Interesting.
I think
Incentivized.
incentivized.
No, you said it right. Incentivized.
I did.
How?
you fuck with us over here and you subscribe to these beliefs, maybe you get like protection or like an easier way up the ladder. Nope. In whichever
All right,
system.
so that incentivization, does that come inherently, or is it discovered? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like racism is just a extreme euphemism with a little extra context of tribalism.
Yes.
Like, it's basically at base tribalism, and tribalism is genetically ingrained. Like, that's guaranteed.
Absolutely.
So, like, racism is just a feeling that's been exaggerated, that is gotta be in our DNA on some level.
From a tribalistic aspect.
So it could probably be fostered and made worse, and obviously there's fucking absurdly racist people that are gross, but the argument, I guess, would become, does everybody have a little bit, right?
Oh, I absolutely do.
And presumably, the answer should be yes.
Yeah. Like when I see a Jamaican artist, or let's say there's a Jamaican person and they're winning, i.e. GJ Academics or Usain Bolt, I'm Jamaican and I inherently be like, hey, that guy's Jamaican. I fuck with him, even though if I might not fully agree with them. It's just a sense of nationalism that I'm okay with agreeing to. So when I realized that,
That's the easy side. What about the other side?
the other side, as far as
I mean, to keep it in the minor category, but not your race or creed.
right.
So
I
like
think
it says, so like, for example, if you see a white guy dancing really well and you're like, oh wow,
I didn't know they could do that.
That's a little bit racist, right? Just a little bit.
Yeah, I would.
Otherwise, it's not really a spectrum. Then we're really just trying to draw a black and white thing, which is what people love to do.
There's some badass white boys out there, man.
Some white boys could really dance.
Yeah, they can
I'm
really
not
get
one of
down.
them.
No. How do I like it on the other side? Like perceiving like another race outside of my own.
Yeah. Because it's easy to be pro you.
Right.
No one's ever gonna fault you for that.
I'm pro everybody. I was having a conversation with this guy at my work, right? And he feels so ashamed about what his ancestors have done in the past in America. And he's like, "Oh, I'm ashamed to be white." And I'm like, "Bro, why are you ashamed to be white, man? Why do you look in the mirror and not like yourself?"
Because he's too weak to have his own perception of it, and he's just taking in what he's being taught.
Yeah.
And that's being taught right now is you have to be ashamed to be white.
Right. No, you don't have to be ashamed, bro.
Yeah, but also if you feel that, I don't even feel bad for you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeesh, they got you.
They got you.
They got you, man. You fell
that's
for
exactly it. It's like, all right, maybe I feel a little bad that they got you, but like, you got bro.
Yeah.
That's still on you at the end of the day. Whether I feel bad about you or not, you have to fix this. You're the only one that can fix this.
And I like the difference in nuances in like culture, you know, whether they're black, white, Asian, Mexican. I like those nuances. That's different. It'd be nice to, I'm in this house and then we go over to that person's house and we experience their culture. They come over to my house and experience my culture.
I really always end up appreciating the ones most that just are very family oriented though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, or the family oriented ones that like will take in a guest and let them feel like family.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I've had a couple scenarios like that in my life, and I don't know if it changes my expectation or like perspective of like a certain race or culture, but I think it does. It does. It's like, you know what? You can say what you want about them, but those motherfuckers treated me right. But yeah, and I'm okay with people having pride in who they are as well. It's just, I just think there's a difference. We should, like, as a nation, we should just be like, hey, disrespect is disrespect. Being mean is being mean. And nigga, we all got our own culture and we should just love each other.
But I mean, in a lot of people's head right now, in just the most mainstream way, there's like a double standard of direction, obviously. So like, you know, people who are susceptible to it like that, I guess really need to like, in my head, they probably have some self-hatred, racism toward themselves, whether they learned it or not. It's like you still have that, so like you should consider the other side. Like it's this thing where you're not even allowing yourself to think outside of this one box at all.
Right.
Like white people are evil, period. End of story. Like, I'm not allowed to think anything else or say anything else, otherwise my friends won't like me anymore type shit. It's like, all the friends I have know me and know I would never believe that. And to be frank, I don't really have many white friends.
Really?
I would say shout out to Nick and Brian.
Nick, Brian.
Nick and Brian, those are my primary white friends since like 9th grade. Beyond that, I mean, you know, just the area that we live in.
Right.
I just don't have that.
We're in South Florida. I represent a realm for revolutionary thought, and I wanted to have these conversations that are considered taboo. And
well, I'm glad you live up to that name, man.
Yeah, man. We need to document.
That's revolutionary thought. Hierarchy is another thing that's permanently ingrained into us. Whether you want to believe it or not, you put yourself in a position with everyone around you.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. And a lot of people are at the same position. It's possible, but you understand the people above and below you still.
So how do you feel about those lone wolves, figuratively and literally, that were in these hierarchies and was like, fuck that. I don't want to be a omega, beta, alpha, and I'm gonna literally just live on my own. Which
hierarchies aren't that simple. Hierarchy is more like the military. It's not a binary thing where it's alpha or beta.
Oh, because
it's more like that. Fucking general, admiral, corporal, like the soldier next to you. Like,
okay.
Like we're still boys, but you gotta if your boy happens to be a captain and you're just a lieutenant,
right? You
gotta still respect your boy's order at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So like hierarchy is this thing that comes into our brain in the background. It's not the first and foremost thought, but your behavior is still gonna ultimately reflect it at the end of the day.
Got it. You see how far I was going though? Because right now I'm in this point of like my thinking patterns where I'm really trying to trace things back. I want to say we're blessed. We have all this like data of like human history and stuff and how humans work and civilizations that have ended and fallen. And it's like I'm really trying to trace things back to like the innate part of human nature. And so that's why when we were talking about hierarchy, it's like my mind goes straight to like primitive, prehistoric, are we speaking like, is it ingrained?
No, but that's what it is. Like that's how it would end up in our DNA, is that if it's been around so long that we weren't even what we are now when it happened.
Right.
Like fucking Jordan Peterson always gives the perfect example of the lobster, because we divulged from that DNA line, I think it was like 300 million years ago or something.
Was it an actual lobster?
We divulged from that line, so they became lobsters and we became humans.
Yeah, I knew. It was
At that time, it was a totally different thing than both of those.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I don't even know what we were. We just know, based off the similarities in DNA, at what time it was divulged in line.
Right.
But I don't know if scientists even know what that creature was.
I thought it was like some form of like plankton. Nevertheless,
remember that we came from the sea. We were originally in the sea before we became land-walking Homo sapiens.
Wait a minute, are you telling me
we started as water animals?
Are you telling me you don't believe that God created Adam and Eve, and then Adam and Eve fucked each other, and then their kids?
I believe actually that's probably just a metaphor for like, particles actually coming into existence or something. I believe that's probably all true in a way that we just don't understand.
Absolutely. That's kind of like, I do like to study religion, and that's kind of what I felt like a lot of these ancient texts were created off of. It's either like some internal like spiritual experience or like some psychedelic experience.
If you've done enough psychedelics and you've read the Bible, you go, oh.
You know how like you can perceive things. Yeah.
But not only that, I can't think of his name off rip, but there's a brilliant researcher who developed this whole theory. He was initially like with the priesthood and studied the oldest version of the Bible for his whole life, and then eventually became agnostic. Like he left the priesthood. He didn't become atheist. He became agnostic because basically through the most advanced understanding that he could possibly get from the oldest versions of that text, he said it's basically encrypted, meaning it's like stories to hide a meaning of basically directions for rituals related to basically mushrooms and like sex. It's all just like
because sex is kind of creation.
But it's like literally like directions.
The old biblical text that he was studying.
Yeah, like the oldest version. He basically how his final analysis was just like This is all fertility instruction and psychedelic instruction.
Right.
That's it.
Interesting. How would you describe God at this moment in time?
The singular consciousness that creates everything always all at once.
Singular consciousness.
Yeah, I believe that I believe in the Buddhist concept of panpsychism,
Okay.
which is that everything is conscious to a degree. Like, we exhibit extreme consciousness. That's why we're moving about the way we are. But this wall wouldn't exist without consciousness. It's still a low frequency of consciousness. And that's how it's here. Because nothing exists except consciousness.
Right.
Imagine if you had raw nothing and then consciousness. You're bored, depressed, and alone. You're going to go ahead and create all of reality just to ignore the fact that you're bored, depressed, and alone.
Right.
Because you're a singular consciousness with nothing around. No space, no time, no anything. So you have to create those dimensions in order to escape that. And that's what reality is.
Yeah, no, beautiful, man, beautiful.
That's just how I've experienced and perceived it through my experiences.
I like having these conversations. I feel like it tickles the brain and it allows us to like really question, what do we think about our reality.
You asked the right questions, though. You ask questions nobody else asks. I know that much.
Yeah. No, I'm glad that I wrote these down. I took my time and had effort with it. Any plans of any musical projects within the next, maybe to say 5 to 10 years?
Aside from with you?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah. Basically, I started building Minds Wide Open after trying to focus on rapping for a bit and then realizing how I saw it at the time, and I was doing a lot of like acid and shrooms at the time, so the concept was more clear at that point.
Right.
But how I perceived it was everyone trying to succeed in music was just all together in a room jumping and reaching for something. And I was like, I'm just standing next to a bunch of people doing the same jump with the same reach as me. I gotta do something different. I gotta go build a stool so that I can stand on a stool while, like, I'll be over in the corner while everyone's still trying to jump and grab. I'm just gonna build this stool. I'm gonna come back a half hour when I'm done. Everyone's still gonna be standing and jumping. I'm just gonna get on that stool and grab it.
It's working smarter, not harder.
Minds Wide Open is my stool.
Got it.
I decided I'm just gonna build a platform instead, and then when I'm ready to drop whatever the fuck I want, people will listen off the name.
Off the strength, off the muscle. I like it. So you do have plans for musical projects.
Absolutely. I could never stop.
Yeah, I would love to see. I know you're focusing on creating this empire and stuff, which I'm super. You already know. I say my thanks about what you do, just existing.
And shout out to RHV as well, bro.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I'm trying to create my stool as well, and trying to do something other than just being in the same room.
You should promote more other people on your stool. Your stool is 75% Jaymond Kreek right now.
No, it's not. Get out. Look at all those photos that I'm taking. Those are not Jay. I took the photos.
But every time there's like a project promoted or anything, I'm like, oh, I can see the new Jaymond Kreek on RHV.
What about everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, on the RHV story, I like to promote a lot of people that
I don't watch a lot of stories.
Okay,
so
that's
you're probably doing more.
That's one thing specifically, because on my personal Jaymond Kreek like Instagram or Twitter, it's like I know people they don't want to see me repost other people that I met through the culture and shit. They want to see me and
that's
whatever
what
the
the
fuck they
Jaymond
like me
Kreek
for.
page is for. That's exactly
Precisely. RHV. This is the Run for Revolutionary Thoughts, so everybody's coming in.
But that's why literally you've never once seen Minds Wide Open post about Defika Juice.
Why not? Rock Nation posts about Jay-Z.
Now?
Dreamville retweets J. Cole.
Dreamville is a record label started by a major artist whose name is giving face to that. People know Minds Wide Open.
Benzino gave his own music reviews.
No, a lot of people know.
Which I don't agree with.
A lot of people that know Minds Wide Open don't know Cool Hand Luke.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'm not adding to the brand. The brand could add to me. But that's why those people do it. J. Cole will grow Dreamville because J. Cole is bigger than Dreamville. Jay-Z is bigger than Rockefeller. So he's growing that brand with that name.
Right. Okay.
Minds Wide Open is bigger than Cool Hand Luke.
Absolutely. And RHV Code is bigger than Jaymond Kreek.
No, it's not. Jaymond Kreek is bigger than RHV
I mean, I say it in that sense because I feel like this shit's my retirement plan.
Sure,
like,
no, and that's it.
like,
Could potentially be for sure. If that's your goal, then that's your goal. But I'm telling you what I see right now.
Oh, okay. Because RHV knows no bounds.
I agree.
It doesn't navigate the space of like an artist.
I believe in the revolutionary realm of thought. Yeah. I just think that it's currently smaller brand wise than Jaymond Kreek.
I would have to concur with that. Yeah.
Because you're looking at the same reality I am at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that was deep. That was deep. Got a little content therapy, content creator CEO therapy going on. That's fucking beautiful. Well, you know what, man? I had a few extra questions, but I think we've had a wonderful conversation. Fucking deep and loaded with insight and all types of things. Cool, and Luke, it was a pleasure. Thank you for doing this for me.
Pleasure's mine.
Yeah, man.